And we are live. This is an impromptu cast. I didn't think I was going to make it. I was kind of sick all week long, trying to fight a cold. But thanks to my tea and copious amounts of throat lozenges, well, I'm back. So without much ado, let's get to it. But before we do, I'm joined by two panelists. We'll begin with the person who's been here the least, Pinky Don. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, this is Pinky Don from Video Game Facts, and I haven't been watching Tokyo Game Show because I didn't know it was on this week.
It isn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've basically just been I'm just looking at various stories that are interesting on it, but yeah.
I was only paying attention on what was revealed from Nintendo's side.
Fair enough. Continue, Pinky Don.
Yeah, and also I was also paying attention on what was revealed on Capcom's side of the Tokyo Game Show, which was DLC for a game that was only been out for a few days.
And they already got DLC for it?
Yeah.
You know that's on disc DLC, right?
Yeah, on disc. Well, so far nobody has hacked into the game to know if it is on disc DLC.
Yeah, but I mean, as quickly as they had this DLC ready, either it was supposed to be in the game when it went gold and they took it out so that they'd have something to sell you, which is scummy, or the code is locked away and what you're downloading is just some code to unlock it, basically, when you buy it. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, Capcom could not be trying to screw people over, but does anyone want to take that bet?
I wouldn't.
So, Triple M, are you going to introduce yourself?
All right. Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Triple M here, and make it short. Let's go on.
All right then. Yeah. So today, this impromptu BS Busters is just we're going to be talking about well, how we feel about the TGS. Some of the news that kind of popped out to us. The Tokyo Gaming Show is over. Right now, it's basically a lot of winding down. But so I guess we'll begin with Pinky Don. What you about the game?
Well,
I mean, for, TGS.
Well, the highlight for me was Fire Emblem Warriors, since that was the one thing from the Nintendo side that got my eye. They revealed three of the last few characters from the base roster, which was Celica from Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, and Sita and Tiki, both from Shadow Dragon. And right now, Celica is getting a lot of hate because she is a Marth clone.
Well, hell, if they're going to give her hate, then they need to give hate to Chrom and Lucina, because both of them are Marth clones technically. They even use the same damn weapon, the Falcon. So,
well, the thing is that both Chrom and Lucina have different movesets from different playstyles from Marth.
I know, but I mean, they both have blue hair. That I guess is in that family. They all have blue hair.
Yeah,
that's how you know you're the and you will the Falcon. I mean, why are they getting pissed now? Why weren't they mad when Roy came along in Smash Brothers? Because he was basically kind of like a clone of Marth. Just he had fire-based attacks and Marth had non-elemental. That was it.
Yeah, with a few differences.
Because there are people who actually like Roy, and people want to see Roy added into Fire Emblem Warriors, but they can't. But they can't at the moment because they just announced 3 DLC packs one that's coming later this year, which focuses on Fates. The second is focused on Shadow Dragon, which would be between the tail end of 2017 and early 2018. And the Awakening DLC pack will be on spring 2018.
So basically, what you're saying is that they're basically gonna support it with DLC like they did with Hyrule Warriors.
Yep, they do. They are, but the problem with that, the problem that they have is that they're strictly only on Shadow Dragon, Fates, and Awakening, rather than the other Fire Emblem titles like Roy's Game or Path of Radiance.
Well, hell, who's to say they might not do a sequel? Kind of like how they did, almost how they did Dragon Quest Heroes back to back for Square Enix.
Yeah, you know, if this game actually sells well. But,
well, come on, man.
I already got the special edition pre-ordered. I had to sell my soul to the devil that is GameStop in order to get it.
Man, I feel sorry for you, man. Yeah. Never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever spend money with GameStop because they are foul, they're evil.
It's because neither Best Buy nor Target have it available for pre-order.
Really? Not Amazon?
Yeah, it seems like GameSpot is actually is the only one that's doing it for now, which I kind of find that pretty darn suspicious unless they made some freaking deal, which
they could have made a deal. You never know with those bastards. Yeah, I never make a deal with people. Like there's certain things where I'm just not gonna get it. And we're joined by a wild Jewel Star Rider. Jewel Rider Moonstar. Let me get my Master Ball ready. How's it going, Jewel?
He just called me.
Yeah.
How's it going, Jewel?
I'm all right, and just in time. So you caught me right after I just got full.
We were just talking about Fire Emblem Warriors from Tokyo Game Show.
Yes, we are talking about Fire Emblem Warriors, and it's not a terrible game, but
it's not my kind of game in a sense.
The thing about Warrior games is just like
it's tap one button to win nearly all the time.
Basically, and it depends on what you like. Like if it's an IP that's near dirty, like I like Fire Emblem, but I'm Fire Emblem out. Like I need a break. Yeah, I need a break from Fire Emblem. So people are gonna get it. God bless you. Me, I'm gonna go play something else for a little bit. Frankly speaking, I'm gonna be too busy with Mario Odyssey.
Was that ever part of the other Tokyo Game Show?
No, but I'm just saying as a game, like between Mario Odyssey and then a month and some days after that, they're releasing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, I'm not gonna have time for Fire Emblem Warriors, and I don't want to get a game.
There's so many games that are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, my wallet's already suffering.
Yeah, I don't want to get a game that's just gonna be sitting there. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just recently bought Tournament DX. I might not have enough money to buy Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 because the SNES Mini is coming out next week.
Yeah, so I mean, Nintendo, you're just gonna make me spend all my money with you.
I'd want to, but I can't. Now, all of
it's like trying to pick your favorites.
Yeah, it's like someone saying pick your favorite child. Well, shit.
It's to the point I had to pick a game to get for Christmas.
Basically, that's how I feel. Except, like at this point, it's not so much a money thing. It's just like what do I? It's time, right? It's like what do I want to spend a lot of time playing? Like for me, like I don't want to spend a huge amount of time Like, it's like there's certain games I'm just like, I just don't have the time. Like, right now, I barely have enough time with, like, I beat Breath of the Wild, so I haven't really gone back to that for a while. I might go back, like, later on this year, maybe early next year. But, I mean, like, then you've got the games that I've gotten through Steam sales, which just for anyone who has a PC, Steam sales are like getting drunk. Is like going to a party, getting drunk, and then waking up the next day and you look over and there's some weird chick in the bed with you. Like that's how it feels to have to get Steam sales, because you're like they have a Steam sale and you look in your Steam library, you're like, I bought that? Really? And it's
Not
like,
to laugh at people like you with that.
You're surprised. You can't believe you bought it, but you're like, it was so cheap. You were like, I had to do it. It was just cheap. It was
impulse.
It was $3. It was $3 for a AAA game from 2 years ago. Come on, I can't beat that. It's like you beat that. I got Dragon Age Ultimate Edition for like $4.99 with all the DLCs and everything. If you add up all those DLCs alone, it's like $30. But then you add in the base game, that's another like $60. So that's
$90.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're saying something.
I paid $5 for a $90 game. Now, of course, depreciation. It's really like, the actual game you could probably get for 10 or 15 used at GameStop. But this is brand new with all the codes, because GameStop doesn't give you the DLC codes when games have like digital content. So, and DLC never goes on sale. So yeah, I paid $5 for a $45 game. Go me. That is cheap, my friend.
The people that use Steam, because it's because of those sales that they stuff that make them say, "What the f?"
Yeah, and then you look in your Steam library, like, did I buy that?
Of course you did.
Who bought? Really? I bought that? What is this? Why did I get this? Like, there are games that I've gotten that the only reason I got it was because it was on sale. Like, I never even play it, but it was like $2.
I haven't used Steam. I haven't used my Steam account for years, and I've been trying to get myself back into it, but I keep forgetting.
Steam isn't for everybody, but I mean, when they have Steam sales like Christmas or their summer Steam sale or Valentine's Day, they're gonna have a Halloween one. Great time to get games. Great time. Like, and certain games are always going on sale, like GTA, Vice City, San Andreas. And I know what some people are going to say, but if you already have those games on PS2 and PS3, why would you get them on PC? Because I can mod
the
them
mods,
on
man.
PC.
The mods.
I can add new content. I can like, there's a mod for GTA Vice San Andreas that that changes the storyline that CJ's been basically abducted by aliens, and so now you get to take over an alien city, and it's awesome.
And you can turn your main character into a pre-existing character like Mario.
Yeah, or you can play as other characters. Yeah. You can play as Sweets or that fat guy whose name escapes me. Smoke, Ryder, C-Loke. Sorry, Jeffrey. But yeah, but that's neither here nor there. We were talking about things that we saw at TGS that kind of inspired us, that looked interesting. Did you see anything, Jewel, at TGS that made you say, "Wow"? I
got a full chance to look at it, but I was trying to at least get. What came out of it?
So, did you see anything that made you say, "Wow, I hope that comes to the U.S."?
Not entirely.
Nothing that made you say, "Wow, I hope this comes where to you know, the East Coast.
As I said, I didn't get a chance to look, and I was trying to get the news, so I'm a little bit in the dark. So if anything, I'm just trying to be sure of what I could find there.
Okay. Well, here's a list of things you can scroll it while we go over. While I do mine. Find something that interests you. It's from IGN, but just scroll on the bar and you can find something that you're like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, F IGN. To hell with these bastards.
I was about to say, there's few news sources that make you happy to look into them, at least with gaming.
I get it. I totally get it, but
at least that's fair warning. Thank you very much.
Well, at least on my end, I really didn't actually care much for Tokyo Game Show because I kind of think, nor even look back to see what they showed, because I was pretty much thinking that, or guessed that most of the stuff that they would show there, things that we've already seen, or is close to coming out. So yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was mostly just a lot of stuff that we already knew about. It was like, yeah, we knew about this.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a PSVR Monster Hunter game.
It's probably it's probably a port of some version of Monster Hunter that they just threw over there.
I was gonna say, I'm at least hoping that the DLC for Monster Hunter Stories comes, but so far I'm not seeing much else.
Yeah.
To be honest, there was one thing that a type of story that piqued my interest. I forgot what title of this game was, but what caught me about it is it's a game that's coming to the VR that is, I think it was that is from a franchise quite known, but they didn't make a game about it without VR. I was like, okay, that's odd, but I'm guessing maybe because they only made the game for the VR is to push the whole virtual reality thing. It was also, at least for now, only for the PS4. So I'm guessing. Well, there you go. Pushing the PlayStation 4 VR. That's my guess.
It'll probably be ported over to PC probably next year, probably in March or April. Because PSVR, I don't care how much money Sony keeps on spending on the PSVR, it's not going to succeed. All right.
VR was a mistake. It's nothing but trash.
Well, I mean,
not yet. Well, for the most part, how some games, or most games being implemented, they didn't have much TLC. But probably when it gets better in the near future, then I can say, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
I mean, that's a part of it. I think the reason VR just isn't really. Before I go on, Kenoshi Abominito, how's it going? All right, I guess he's quiet. Yeah, but basically,
is broken again.
I guess he typed something if that were the case. But what I was about to say is that what I wager is that VR in gaming won't become a mainline thing until it's affordable. What I mean by that is until you can go into a store and spend $20 to $50, get the headset with the wires you can plug into whatever device it is, and like someone can get 2 or 3 of them and not feel like they're buying a PC. Like
Pretty much.
Once VR gets to that point where someone can say, go to a Best Buy or the Walmart or wherever your big box retailers, or go on Amazon and say, I want 3 VR headsets for whatever device this is, and they're spending between $20 to $50 a piece, and they don't feel like they just basically took their wallet and ran it over with a semi truck, then VR will be affordable. But VR isn't affordable like that. Even PS VR is, like, depending on what you're buying, it's like $250. Because you got to get the headset, you got to get the move things, which are still like $100 to $150 depending on what set you get. So you're still, and then on top of that, even with all of that, you still need the PS4. If you don't have a PS4, then that's another $200. That's depending on what bundle you get. That's either $250 to $300 right there. So basically, at that point, you might as well just get a PC. But maybe that's just me, you know. I'm just insane like that. I don't know.
So what happened at TGS? Anything good happened at TGS? Because I haven't. When's the last time TGS has truly been relevant? That's
Well, I mean, what I saw at this year's from what I saw of the events, it's just Sony showed a whole bunch of stuff that they did at basically at what they did at E3. Which is why I said it's E3 2017 in Japanese, with a few niche games that aren't really going to push. Like, it's not going to help them take back Japan, and it's not really going to help them abroad. Is what they showed at TGS. Like, they showed Yakuza, the Yakuza crossover with
Fist of the North Star.
Fist of the North Star. Now, I would buy that game, but I'm a Fist of the North Star fanboy. Yeah, I'm a Fist of the North Star fanboy. I love Fist of the North Star. The idea of just going up to random people and hitting them like like him using his 100 crack fist and walking away. The guy's like, come back here. He's like, you're already dead. You have 3 seconds to live. And them doing the countdown and the dude's head exploding in blood and gore. I love that type of stuff. But is this a mainstream game that Joe Blow, average person who buys Madden and FIFA and Call of Duty and Battlefield every year is going to buy? Hell no. That guy would see that game and be like, I don't want any of that weird Japanimation shit.
Although it's great that such a game exists.
Well, yeah. I mean, only in a world like that we live in now can you have a game where, like, it's basically Yakuza cross with Fist of the North Star, and I love it, personally speaking. Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I didn't think something like that would happen, but
a Yakuza cross with Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, but can I get a Yatta in here?
Everybody was hoping,
Currently, I'm thinking of an idea. Currently, I'm thinking about Shonen versus Capcom crossover idea.
I know everybody was hoping and praying that a new handheld, that Sony would announce a new handheld.
Wait, someone actually said something like that?
Who was that stupid?
I don't know.
Look, I'm gonna get a little raw here, okay? But every single handheld that Sony has put out got taken out back, bent over, had its pants pulled down, and was hit with a board. Oh, I was about to get a little crass, but then I pulled it back and got beaten with a board, just a straight up board, by whatever Nintendo had out at the time. Even their most successful handheld.
Nintendo's been the one the red rares.
Basically, yeah, they beat them with a board. So what makes Sony think that they could do, like, at this point? Okay, like, Nintendo has combined their handheld expertise with their home consoles with the Switch. They've combined the two form factors, basically giving you console games on the go. I mean, what the hell is Sony gonna do? Like, if they were gonna release a handheld, what, we could do that too, and then have another handheld that's really expensive to develop for, that they count on third parties to support, which they won't because it's so goddamn expensive to put games on the system. I mean,
people are gonna say this, but since they did so well in Japan and still being supported in Japan, that means that they're going to defeat Nintendo 3DS. I could hear that from the strawman a mile away.
Oh, and did Sony reveal that what they were hiding behind that curtains according to their UK Twitter page?
I don't know, man. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I actually thought that they were going to reveal something like that in TGS, because I thought, well, since they did that on, they posted that on Twitter, the next show that they would reveal something about that would be TGS, but so far I haven't heard nothing of that.
So I guess they're not ready to show it yet.
They probably didn't show anything. Probably was some bullshit.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, following Sony's typical thing where they're like, they get people wound up and then they show it. It's like, really? That's it? Okay.
That's why I would keep my expectations rather low.
Yeah, that's why I said it was probably some bullshit, because that's normally what Sony likes to do. Like, hey, guys, get riled up. It's gonna be awesome, and they show it. Maybe it's Knack 3.
What?
Knack just came out today.
I don't know, man. I just like shitting on Knack. I'm sorry. It's a fun game to shit on. Don't get mad at me because I shit on Knack all the time.
That's unless you're a fan of shooting Donkey.
You guys think they're gonna announce their next handheld this year or next year?
Who, Sony? I don't think Sony's gonna do a handheld. And here's the thing: even if they do a handheld, they have to make it different enough from the Switch that they don't get called a Me Too person yet again. But here's the thing: Sony is not a video game company. Sony is an electronics company.
So they have a gaming division.
Yeah.
That gaming division is the only thing alive.
That gaming division is not like, okay, Sony's studios are not like, their video game development studios aren't, how can I put this?
Top notch.
No, it's not that they aren't. They're very westernized. Okay, like I think the only Japanese studio they still have kind of running things is their Gran Turismo team. But aside from that, everything else is very westernized. So they aren't the type of developers that you see at Sega or Nintendo. Like Sega, the few Sega teams that still exist at Sega will still work on anything. They'll make any type of game. Like, you know, someone who's working on a Mario game, who's, you know, part of the main core Mario studio, might go and make a little handheld game, and they don't feel that's beneath them. You know, someone who is who works on, you know, something else will go work on like who works on console games will go make a handheld game. They don't feel that's beneath them. We have quotes from Sony people who are like, I don't want to work on the Vita. Like literally, someone who was at Naughty Dog said they would not work on a Vita game.
Wow. So which company said this?
Someone at Naughty Dog. Like, I don't know the exact person. I just know they worked at Naughty Dog. Like when the Vita launched, they were like, because didn't you know that like the Uncharted game for the Vita was made by an outside studio? It was like contracted out.
Yeah.
So I mean, when your core team doesn't want to make shit for your hardware, there's a problem.
Why didn't they want to make anything for this either?
Because they're arrogant assholes.
Simple.
I don't know.
There's either assholes or they don't have enough pocket.
I mean, you could say they were busy working on. At that time, they were probably working on that Uncharted with mushroom zombies game, Last of Us. But I mean, you couldn't have had like 4 or 5 people overseeing that. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't have had some people work on it. It's weird. Whereas Nintendo will send their A team out. Maybe not the whole team, but somebody like Shigeru Miyamoto oversaw Super Mario Run's development. Okay?
They at least be sure that somebody's keeping an eye on things.
Kensuke Tanabe is now like the 3D Metroid guy. He went to Retro and got their shit together. Like, so they'll send their A-team people out to make sure shit stays on task, which is something that seems to be missing from other from Sony. So, I mean, if Sony releases another handheld, I don't think they will. I mean, because how many times do you have to get your ass beat before you stop messing with the person who keeps on beating your ass? At what point do you get punched in the eye enough? It's like, you know what? I'm tired of getting my eye punched. I think I'll
say that. I think Sony hasn't learned that yet.
So they need a few more black eyes. They need, maybe the next one will stick. Maybe I'm tired of getting my eye punched in the eye.
Probably 2 black eyes, a broken nose, loose jaw.
Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah. Okay, fine then. Okay. Basically, Sony's handheld division is like a dude who got beat so bad he's got to pee in a bag, and carried around with him, taped to his leg. Okay, with busted up ribs and a busted up face and teeth that got shattered and stuff. And yet, for some reason, Sony's like, yeah, we can do it again. No, you can't. Please stop. Please. For everyone.
They keep thinking they could win.
Yeah, I gotta give them perseverance, determination.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, it's not even determination. It's like seeing someone just get the shit kicked out of them repeatedly. At some point, someone's like, "Is anyone going to stop this fight? Throw in the towel, man! Throw in the towel." Yeah. It's kind of like that guy who fought Muhammad Ali, and he was getting his ass kicked. And like at one point, like the guy's like they want to throw in the towel. He's like, I'm okay, I'm not hurt. I'm like, man, you getting your ass kicked. It stopped the fight. That's basically how it feels. Yeah. It's like, Sony, just stop. Stick to your home console. Stick to your shitty PS Now, but and your PS streaming. Just stop with the handhelds, because look.
Have you seen the commercials, like how TV has changed or something?
No, I haven't. I try not to watch Sony commercials because most of them are bullshit.
Yeah.
Like 95% of them are bullshit. And I have an allergy to bullshit, like too much, and I get sick. And I don't want to get sick. I have things to do with my life.
Probably why you got sick the whole week.
Is that why you're sick right now?
Yeah.
No, I'm sick right now because I volunteered and went around people that I'm not used to being around, and my immune system said, if you caught something, and I just all week I was like hawking up phlegm. It was disgusting. I could barely get out of bed earlier this week. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here. Somehow I managed to get to the doctor, and they gave me some really good stuff that promptly made me even sicker for a little bit. So, but that's neither here nor there.
I said that's good, but yeah. On to more of Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, TGS. So, anyone see anything that made them say, "Wow, I think that this kind of at TGS that made them say, wow, I think this could totally work," or are we all just doomed for failure?
No,
I just
well,
think the industry. I just think this industry is only a few heartbeats away from something really bad. I don't know. Just like there are good games out there. There are good games that are being made that are worth being played. A lot seems like most of them these days are coming out of Nintendo or indies, right? Or certain sections of some of your bigger publishers. But it seems like I just when it comes to AAA, it just seems like nothing. It's like, well, why should I care about AAA anymore?
AAA just means a bigger budget for.
Usually, only when you know that they have proven that they have high, they are able to deliver.
I think AAA is a load of horseshit, personally. Like when someone says this game is AAA, that just means that
it's a big budget.
Yeah, that just means that the budget is huge. That doesn't mean it's going to be a good game or it's going to have quality to it. Because how many games have we seen where, like, they were like, this game has a AAA budget, and it's like, this game is shit.
I would say it was not working properly. Yeah, I wouldn't call a AAA game polished.
I mean, I've seen a lot of games.
My generation now.
Well, I've seen a lot of. No, go ahead, Triple. I'm sorry.
I was just finishing it off. Yeah, more than a generation now. Seems like these developers that keep, or shouldn't I say developers, but more like publishers, keep effing up. But yeah, go ahead, Red.
Well, they do. They keep on effing up, and no one talks about it. They're like, no, like people make excuses.
Oh no. Let me correct you on that. People do talk about it, but for some reason, people forget when a brand new installment comes in.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. I think Ubisoft has learned their lesson. It took a mighty ass whooping for them to learn their lesson, but I think they've learned it.
And having Vivendi still up there behind. Yeah. I will say, this is what I wanted to bring about. Right now, I am actually watching a footage of what surprisingly, a Square Enix game called The Lost Sphere. From what I can tell, it looks like a top-down. A top-down RPG.
Yeah.
And so far, it's at least it looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, I looked at it. There should be a demo for it maybe sometime next month in America. So I look forward to it. So
one can hope.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone is interested who still wants to try the demo, it's on the Japanese eShop. If someone is willing to,
change their region, change the language, change their IP address, and
yeah, all of that.
Yeah, read through all that kanji.
There's some bizarre news regarding to Tokyo Game Show. I Got Married in Tokyo Game Show's real-life romance simulator by Polygon.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I want to know.
I didn't click on that one. I was like, yeah, I really don't want to hear.
I got one eyebrow raising right here.
And the article made a clarification that it's not a legal marriage.
Oh, that's
good. Oh, we're going that far.
I'm like, why would you? Never mind. I'm not even going to touch that. Not
Wait, did somebody marry a cartoon character?
No, they. I guess they played like a live action dating simulator game, except it's live action. And he got married. I guess he said the right things and scored the right points. And I don't know. I don't understand.
Enough
that.
said.
That's weird. So he basically married a cartoon character.
No, it's a real person. There's a picture of the chick. It's a real person, but
It's happened already, so I'm not surprised entirely.
He might as well have married a cartoon character. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
I mean, it's
Might as
Japan.
well
Well, I've got some news for people. Here's some deals for those of you who want to buy games. You can get Mass Effect Andromeda Deluxe for $18 for the PS4 and the Xbox One on Amazon, or you can get it for the base game for $16.50 on the Xbox One and $15 for PC on Amazon. I feel bad because I paid $30 for mine. Yeah, that game. That game
hasn't even been out for 6 months.
No, but I mean,
holy crap!
I think they kind of knew. I think that they knew that game was going to be shit. So yeah.
I was going to say, before anyone buys this, have they fixed everything in that game yet?
They fixed the animations. They fixed the They fixed some of the mission structure. They fixed some of the bugs, but overall, it's still a broken piece of shit. So. I mean, actually, I take that back. They fixed a lot of the issues. It is a better game now than it was when it released. But here's the problem. It shouldn't have released in the state that it was. You know what I mean?
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Excuses. It's $26 on CD keys right now.
It's growing so epic.
I wouldn't get that game. I won't get that game until they do a Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. Because it makes no sense to spend whatever the base price is, whatever you spend for the base price, whether that be CD key or whatever. It makes no sense for you to buy that game and then to spend X amount of dollars on all this DLC and a season pass and all this other stuff. So I'm just gonna wait. And then I'll get it once they do a Game of the Year edition or something like that. Because I do like Marvel vs. Capcom. Those games, to me, are kind of like Smash Brothers, except with a Street Fighter fighting engine with a double jump. So, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to mention about. I want to go back to Fire Emblem Warriors. I've noticed that in some comment sections that there's at least this one that caught my attention. Basically wrote, this game is trash because it doesn't have the character I want.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that complaint is very common, and I'm reading it on Game Explain's comment, and even Game Explain expressed their disappointment in the upcoming DLC packs for Fire Emblem.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I'm okay expressing disappointment for a character that is not in this fan service type of game. But to say that the game is trash, that it doesn't have that character you want. So I'm like, wait a minute, you're saying that this game is basically unplayable, as in broken, because it doesn't have a character you want.
Yeah, that's the same complaint I've been hearing in regards to every Smash Brothers game because Ridley is not playable.
Yeah.
Because according to them, Ridley is the most important newcomer that has to be in the game, or else they will not buy the game.
You know what?
What a bunch of Metroids.
I'm about to say something, and I know some people might get upset, but I don't really care. Look, okay. You're not gonna not every game that comes out you're gonna like. If you don't like a game, you don't like it. Fair enough. And your reason might be a valid reason for you. Like like Mario Kingdom Rabbids Battle is a good game. Mechanically, it's very sound, but I don't like the Rabbids. And
But the characters are a pain in the rear end.
Well, no, Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, they're awesome. It's the Rabbids that I don't like.
That's what I was talking about.
That's the dodge bullet. For people who are complaining about the game, here's the thing. They might add more characters. They might add characters like remember how they added all those characters to
Hyrule Warriors?
To Hyrule Warriors. Even characters that were outside of the season pass, they added characters. So I mean, I can't be like, well, I'm going to hold judgment until we get more information about the DLC. And not to mention, even if they don't add the characters you want, that's not to say that they might not add those characters in the future. Or they might do a Fire Emblem Warriors 2 and put those characters in. You never know if the game sells well enough. So, and here's the thing. They've been using the same damn engine since the PS2 era. So, basically. So, once it sells over 1 million, it's a success. Everything above that is gravy. And since the game is going to be on the 3DS too, it's going to reach its 1 million mark relatively quickly. So people need to calm down. Nintendo's going to make their money. Omega Force is going to make their money. Get over it.
So, anything else you want to talk about, Triple M, in regards to the Fire Emblem Warriors? Oh, wait, he's muted.
So what about the idea that a lot of these publishers are hiring sociologists, psychologists, marketers to make games, essentially casino games, like pachinko?
Addictive.
Because you might as well just be making pachinko machines.
Why is this surprising?
I mean, it's not surprising. It's just it's disappointing, I should say. But I guess I
you read that.
Disappointed a long time ago.
Oh, you read that article?
Why is this surprising? They've been doing this for. I mean, look how these games are made to be addictive. They've been this way for years. Why act surprised now? Why be like, oh man, these? I mean, because think about it. Look how these mobile games play.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
people are too slow to learn.
Well, I mean, look, and here's the thing. Everyone has an addiction. People have been making things addictive for years. Cigarettes, Coca-Cola, TV, game shows. Like, it's all been reduced to a game-style thing. Pinball machines, penny arcades. This shit's been going on for hundreds of years. It's always been this way. Why act surprised now? I can't believe this game that people use to make money with is addictive. Really?
No, I think people are just annoyed that in order to get, you have to pay a $60 entry fee to get into the game. Then you have to pay more money for all this little stuff that used to come with the game, like alternative skin, alternative weapons.
Yeah, they really know how to bend you over and stick it in, don't they?
Like instead of you actually have to. It's like going to the casino and then putting money into the. I guess the machine, and then paying more money to actually play the game. So to actually play the game, you have to put money in, and then push a button, and then you got to put more money in to play it. So it's not like you just put money in and play it. You gotta put money in to turn the machine on, and then put more money in to actually play the game. I think that's why people are all out of sorts with it.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's not really surprising. They've been screwing people over for years. It's just now it's on a bigger playing field, if you will. I mean, you know, that's just the way it is. I mean, look, I'm not happy about it. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish things were better, but that's the world we live in nowadays. So that's what we get.
And if people quit buying it, if people quit buying into it, then, you know,
Yeah, but they're
might
addicted.
actually change.
They're
too late.
addicted. You can't,
They're
look,
addicted to
man,
BS.
there are people who are addicted to cigarettes, right? And they say, I'm going to quit cold turkey. They take their pack of cigarettes and they throw it in the trash, right? And
They're
then,
gonna go if they get a chance.
about 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, they're digging in the trash to get those cigarettes they threw in there. Or if they take the cigarettes and they throw them out in a way that they can't get to them, they'll go and try and find butts. They will light a cigarette butt and try and smoke that. Like,
Their addiction.
and here's the thing. I'm not going to blame the addict because this is a product that was made to be addicted. I'm going to blame the people who make it addicting.
But didn't South Park prove that that the companies the cigarette companies are not to blame for the smoking addiction? They're just following their demands.
Well, they are meeting a demand, but this is you know, I'm using scientific fact, like, because numerous tobacco cigarette companies were sued because we're sued by the federal government and had to pay massive settlements to the people who were harmed, because basically what they were doing were they were hiding evidence that cigarettes were harmful to people's health. They were adding extra chemicals to make them even more addictive. As a matter of fact, they've done studies where they discovered that menthol cigarettes are more addictive and harder to quit than someone who smokes crack.
Yeah, because that thing is sweet.
Think about that. A crackhead has an easier chance of quitting crack than someone who likes cools. Or at least it used to be that way. It may have changed now, but in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, oh shit. So, I mean, you know, I have nothing against people making something that's addictive, but when you're adding substances to make it even more addictive, that's when I have a problem. And that's the issue we have right now. Like, I'm not going to blame the gamers because they're addicted. I mean, you know, it's like if someone is a meth addict, right? Okay, fine, then they shouldn't have gotten into meth, but now they're addicted. So I can't really blame them because now they've been physiologically changed to want to crave this drug. I'm going to blame the people supplying it and not just the person who's selling it. That's like saying, well, to hell with GameStop and Target and Walmart and Toys R Us and Amazon. No, I'm going to look, if you're going to blame someone, you blame the people who make the product. Because they know what they're doing. They do it for a reason. The people who are making these games so damn addictive and who are holding back content and, you know, either putting it on disc or holding it back when the game is released so that they can add it later. Kind of like Capcom with Marvel Infinite. Hey, we already got a DLC character for you guys. It's only $9.99, bitches. Don't hold me that. I don't know how much it costs. I haven't seen the prices. But I'm
Trust me, it'll probably be a lot, but not by much.
Might be $6.99, $7.99, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to blame the person who's the addict. I'm going to blame the person who's supplying the addict.
Yeah.
Like, because it's way it's like if I see someone who's addicted, because people always say that, well, you know, why don't you just quit? It's very hard to, when you're addicted to something, to just quit it. And everyone, in some way, shape, or form, has some type of
magnets away from each other.
Well, everyone has some type of addiction, whether it be fatty food or sugar, or you know, more or alcohol or cigarettes or gaming
Or masturbation addiction.
or TV. You know, everyone has some type of addiction. And, you know, it's, I mean, you're talking about someone being physiologically changed to want to crave this.
Yeah, you just gotta try to find out what you can do to down that in a sense.
Yeah. You know, but But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. Like, I mean, I'm looking at the companies that do it and create these addictive ass games, and I'm like, I can't. Like, you're hiring people to make these
You
games
can't help but
more
shake your
addictive.
head at them, can you?
Yeah, but I mean, the addiction doesn't really bother me. What bothers me the most is people releasing games in incomplete states, or with content that should be in the main base game, but they add later. That's what they did with Destiny. The first Destiny, everyone's like, Destiny 2 is so much better than the first Destiny, because Destiny 2, as it is right now, Destiny 2 was supposed to be an expansion for the first Destiny, and they cut it back so that they could sell you this half-ass game that people were dumb enough to buy and think, yeah, this is great, I'm having fun with this half of the game. And then they added little upgrades as DLC, as expansions, and then the real expansion, they basically made Destiny 2. And that was Activision who did that. And that's why I'm not buying Destiny. Like, I refuse to buy it. I'm like, no, I'm done. I will never buy that game.
Destiny 2 commercial was really cringeworthy.
And I'm not getting Destiny 2. And it's on PC. I could totally get that game. I'm not getting it.
So that 10-year plan, Bungie.
No, that works perfectly for their 10-year plan. If you take one game, one huge game, and cut it in half, a game that would have basically maybe been hot for maybe a year, and then sales would have dwindled down. Now, basically, they took one game release, which would have been like 18 months of support, into 3 years, and they released this game, and now that's another 2 or 3 years. So yeah, they're going to get their 10 years.
Oh, so that means it's not a 10-year plan for one iteration.
No, it's for the IP. It's not it's not for one game. It's for the entire IP, which makes a lot more sense. Because I mean, unless you're talking about an MMO, it doesn't make sense to have to support one game over a long period of time, unless it's an MMO.
I was going to say,
sense.
they tried to that this is going to be a 10-year project.
No, they're going to support Destiny for 10 years, because Destiny is basically supposed to buoy up the dwindling Call of Duty market, because basically Destiny is essentially being made by the people who made Halo. So it's basically taking the place of Halo in a lot of gamers' minds. Which we've seen, really. I mean, let's be honest though. We've seen this. Like, we've seen that Halo is like Halo 4 and 5 are not nearly as good as Halo 1, 2, and 3.
Did Nintendo do anything at TGS?
They took their awards, because they got a whole bunch of awards for them or companies that are heavily associated with them, like Pokemon Company. They took their awards and went home. That's what they did. Like, they won the grand award at TGS, which was for Breath of the Wild, obviously. I mean, what game would it be, really, except for Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well,
okay, man, now you're just messing with people.
I was going to say, isn't that troll?
That's what I'm saying. Now he's just messing with people. Like, see, okay, literally, let's think about this logically, okay? Horizon Zero Dawn is not a bad game, but can it really, if you compare it to Breath of the Wild,
It's
no
tiny.
contest. Yeah, no. Not only that, just there's no contest. Breath of the Wild is objectively a better game than Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm not saying people might enjoy Horizon Zero Dawn more than Breath of the Wild, but on a technical level, Breath of the Dawn is just a better game. It's bigger, it's freer.
You just said Breath of the Dawn.
Sorry, Breath of the Wild.
Gotta say, that's some good mix.
That would be a very interesting game. Your character could actually climb anything and go practically anywhere, instead of, oh, it's an invisible. This mountain is covered with WD-40. No one can climb it. You try and climb it, you slide down.
Have a good trip.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to go back and play The Witcher 3. It's like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, the only... No, I understand what you're saying, Kenoshi. The only open world game that I can actually still go back and play, even now, is Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade, Skyrim, because you can mod new content into it, and like old school game, I can still play GTA San Andreas. That's it. That's the only game that I can, open world game, I can still go back and play. And because San Andreas just lets you go practically anywhere. Like, even with all of its limitations, it lets you go practically anywhere. Like, you can, and it lets it, look, GTA San Andreas in some ways is even more open and freer than Breath of the Wild, because in San Andreas, you can actually go underwater. Something that you really can't do in Breath of the Wild.
You can, but you got air meter.
No,
a very small air meter, I think.
In Breath of the Wild, yeah, but like in Breath of the Wild, like you literally, like there's a glitch you can do in San Andreas where you can ride a bike underwater. Like you're on the ocean floor, right?
And that pretty much breaks the realism of GTA San Andreas.
I don't care. It's fun.
I was going to say, there's a difference between realism and just plain...
Look, man, this is a video game. It's supposed to be impossible.
Yeah, but AAA games these days are trying to avoid any video game logic and try to be as realistic as possible.
Look at the pores on this guy's face. Isn't this awesome? Now, I want to go back to San Andreas where I can take a baseball bat and beat someone down with the baseball bat until they're just a corpse, and you just keep on hitting the corpse and it like flops around, and there's just something funny about the ragdoll physics of it just flopping around. It's ridiculous.
That game, it has some interesting ragdolls.
Yeah, but I mean, no, you're right, Kenoshi. It's really hard to go back to other open world games. Like really hard, like damn near impossible.
Yeah, it's like you look at a mountain and it's like, why can't I climb this mountain?
Yeah,
or
basically.
Why can't I go? Or why can't I, do this thing? Or why are the enemies so stupid? Why do the enemies come back after you defeat them?
Well, I mean, not just that, because I mean, like I said, the only open world game that in some ways is even more free than Breath of the Wild is GTA San Andreas, because San Andreas and Breath of the Wild are very similar to each other. And I can it actually makes sense. You can do missions in multiple different orders. There's all this side shit that has nothing to do with the main mission. They're weird ass collectibles that are a bitch to collect, and the ultimate thing that you get, it doesn't really stack up to all the shit you had to do to collect it. There's random gangs of people just wandering around that try and kill you for no goddamn reason. And once you clear them out, you clear out the territory, but they come back and you got to fight them again.
They're like viruses.
The final boss is kind of a bitch. The final boss battle is in no way commensurate to all the shit you had to do in order to get to the final boss battle. I mean, literally, it's very like to me, Breath of the Wild feels like the San Andreas is what Nintendo basically did the San Andreas formula, but in a bigger, more expansive way, because the physics engine is awesome. But aside from that, oh, and the breakable weapons suck.
Hey, the breakable weapons, at least you can't use everything forever.
Nah. That's my breakable weapons and no tools. Just kind of that was like no, you will not be the greatest Legend of Zelda of all time. No, thank you. Not on my list. That was the breaking point. and not enough dungeons.
I was saying this is going to be one of the Legend of Zeldas, but it's not going to be the top.
Yeah, that was my breaking point. Like no dungeons. I was like, man, no. That's what hurt Wind Waker.
And yet people are. This is the best Legend of Zelda, even though it has the same mistake as the Wind Waker.
They like it for different reasons.
So, right, going back to Horizon Zero Dawn, one of our contributors posted an article 7 months ago about how he was able to watch a stream of Horizon Zero Dawn's ending before the game actually came out. And he informed us that, yes, the game is indeed terrible, both gameplay-wise and story-wise.
Like, okay.
Yeah, that's because it was before it was released.
I'm gonna keep it real. I played Horizon Zero Dawn, not through, but I played it and I saw someone beat it. And like watching it, I'm like, okay, you guys have Lance Reddick. You guys did mocap Lance Reddick's face to put him in the game. Look, I'm glad you gave Lance Reddick some money, keep him, paid Lance Reddick some cash to be in a game. Anytime Lance Reddick gets money, I'm happy because Lance Reddick is just a wonderful character actor. But seriously, in all seriousness,
who does Lance Reddick play?
Lance Reddick played the boss of McNulty in The Wire, which is an HBO TV series, which is really fucking awesome back in the day. It's off now, but it was really awesome. It's about Baltimore crime and people getting shot. It's great. It's a great crime series. But Lance Reddick, I'm always glad to see Lance Reddick come back and make some money. Look, you want to pay him money. It's kind of with Ubisoft when they put Angela Bassett in a Ghost Recon game, I think it was, or maybe like it was either Ghost Recon or like the new Rainbow Six or whatever. Like, look, if you want to give Angela Bassett a check so that she can work, I am all about attractive older black lady getting paid. I'm all about that shit. Okay, I love that. Okay, I love when black people get a check and get paid. That's wonderful. But with that aside. Horizon Zero Dawn is not a terrible game, but from what I played of it, like, okay, if Breath of the Wild had never come out this year, Horizon Zero Dawn would be a really great game. But you have to draw comparisons to Breath of the Wild and other open world games. Even against other open world games, Horizon Zero Dawn is not that good. So
what?
No.
Dang.
No. Even like I said, even against other open world games, it's not great. It's okay. It's not great. It's a little small.
I think Guerrilla Games actually made a game that had a more interesting story than their Killzone stuff.
Yeah, but Killzone story is shit. Like Killzone story is basically, okay, the Hellghast are going to invade. We have to stop them by doing some mission on this shitty planet that I don't know why we're fighting for because it has a different atmosphere that humans can't really breathe, but the Hellghast can. But let's kill some shit anyway. And only in the last game where they had the jump jet shit going on was it slightly different. But Killzone didn't sell well enough, so they basically iced the franchise. So
what I've heard from the story is Horizon Zero Dawn certainly sounds a lot more interesting than whatever was going on in Killzone. So I guess
Well, yeah. I mean, it is better than Killzone's story, but Killzone's story isn't exactly King Lear or Shakespeare, if you get my drift.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a generic first-person shooter story. Oh, the bad guys came and ruined our day, but it might not actually be bad because, you know, you were talking about how it was a planet that they could breathe on, so I don't know why let them have it, because we can't, there's nothing that we can do with it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Personally speaking, like I said, I've never been that into
Not in the Killzone.
no, I've never been into Guerrilla Games.
Oh.
So, like, I played them because, like, Sony was always bragging about them, and I was like, really?
Give it a try.
What other games do they make besides Killzone and Horizon?
And Horizon.
Is that it? Is that all they got?
I think those were...
No, I think they did some other stuff, too. But, let me, because I know, okay, they did Shell Shock NAM 67. That was their first game. I didn't play that one. I did not play that one, no, because that was, you know, that was on Windows, PS2, and Xbox. Then they did Killzone for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Killzone Liberation on the PSP. Killzone 2 on the on the PS3. Killzone 3 on the PS3. Killzone Shadowfall, which, like, these 3 games fucking all the Killzone games bombed. Okay, except for the first one. But after that, it was just downhill from there. And then they did Horizon Zero Dawn. I have played all the Killzone games. I didn't play Shell Shock now, but I did play. I played some of Horizon Zero Dawn.
I've forgotten about those 2 other games of Killzone.
No, I played the ones on. I played the Killzone on the PS2. I didn't play Killzone Liberation until like years afterwards, and I borrowed a friend's PSP to play it. And I like it was like one of those things where someone has a PSP, they let me play it for like an hour. I was like, yeah, this is you know, it's meh. Like Killzone has always been a meh franchise in my opinion. Very, very meh.
The problem with Sony when it comes to like their handheld games, like handheld versions of their console games, they're not handheld iterations of their console games. They're watered down versions of their console games.
Is there a difference between Killzone apart from the other FPS games?
Not really, no. I mean, it's typical, you know. Hey, it's some white guy with a 5 o'clock shadow shooting enemies in the face. Yay!
Yep.
Oh, blood splitting out.
Yeah, and with cussing. That's how you know. That's how you know it's hardcore.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
have we already?
Something else.
Yeah. Square Enix's new game, Left Alive.
Yeah, it's set in the Front Mission universe, and I was excited. I was excited because I heard that it was a new Front Mission game, but it's just a side story in the Front Mission universe, which pisses me off because I love Front Mission, and I would rather have a new Front Mission game than a side story that's a first-person shooter. Well, maybe a third-person shooter, but whatever.
Isn't that what fans said when they complain about Federation Force instead of Metroid Prime 4, which we eventually got?
Yeah, they did. and I stand by my statement. I am less than enthused about this game because I wanted a new Front Mission game. And I was one of the people who, like, I'm not one of those fake-ass fans that only buy certain games. I've bought every Front Mission game in existence, even the ones that were only in Japan. And I was willing to buy another one, but they won't release it. So,
who knows? Probably, even though it's different, it might turn out good. Also, on the plus side, I'll admit, at least you're not one of those type of fans that makes a petition to
get the game canceled. Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. No. I mean, because here's the thing.
That would be barbaric.
The game's probably gonna bomb anyway, so why should I?
Yeah, what's too bomb?
People were so mad about Federation Force. Oh, jeez.
There's only one. There's only one shooter from a Japanese company that's actually doing well right now, and it's Splatoon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like Square Enix can't learn their lesson. You know, they just keep on effing up. They're like, one step forward, two steps back. That's Square Enix's problem.
I thought it was 3 steps back.
Was there a salt mine in regards to the new Shin Megami Tensei game being a Switch exclusive?
Yes, they are. Well, I don't know if it's the new one, but there is a headline that they are working on another Shin Megami Tensei game, and it's going to be Switch exclusive, which makes sense because they already have an engine that they know will probably work on the Switch because that's the engine that they used for Persona Emblem. As Tokyo Mirage Session, but I'm calling it Persona.
Or as people like to call the game that shows everything wrong with modern anime.
Oh,
I'm not gonna go that far. I actually like Persona Emblem. Even the little the ditzy the music. I actually like the music in Persona Emblem.
When that game was first revealed, my brothers mentioned that the game's made for Wii. They made it a weeb game. He called it a weeb game because of the existence of idols.
What's your problem? What's your problem with modern anime? Not that I have any objection to it. I'm just kind of curious.
Nah, man. If you're gonna have an objection, you need to be like Phoenix, right? Objection. Objection! Objection sustained. No, what's your problem, Pinky Don, with modern anime?
It's basically the dominance of slice of life, harems, idols, anything involving cute girls, rather than 80s style macho men like JoJo.
Yeah, but those were always, like, the only time that those were kind of preponderant in Japanese anime was in the late 80s, early 90s when, well, actually, no, like, all throughout the 80s to the early 90s when they started doing the ultra-violent mangas and animes. Like, ultra-violent, I call them the exploitation animes with, like, Violence Jack, and where you had, like, male protagonists that were just, like, square-jawed and angry looking.
I know you previously mentioned that there needs to be a balance. It's just that from where I'm standing, the people who are complaining about what's currently dominant in the anime industry, they want a complete dominance on the exact opposite. Because I'm from what I've seen, it's from the people who I refer to as the Toonami crowd, basically people who grew up with only action anime and not anime from other genres like slice of life.
Yeah, but those people are in the minority. Yeah, those people are in the minority.
I like slice of life anime. I like it's Haru Suzumiya. I'm not calling Haru Suzumiya, but that's a...
It's because of that crowd that Toonami will not air dubbed versions of popular non-action anime like Madoka Magica.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with slice of life anime if they're done well. Just like, I mean, it's kind of like all television can't be explosions on screen. Not all movies are gonna be Fast and
You want to have
Furious
variety
or
in life.
Transformers. You need a variety. In order for a healthy industry, you need to have variety. Like if you went to the grocery store, you're like, man, I really want some veggies. You go into the salad section, and all they have is iceberg lettuce. No romaine, no radicchio, no cabbage, no bok choy, just all iceberg lettuce. You'd be like, what the hell is this? Like that's basically what people are saying.
So,
It's like
if
you want
anything, I'm
all
going to
one
say
thing.
that there's always this kind of that people say that anime lost its flavor with how it's going with certain anime styles. I'm just saying that it has evolved. That anime has evolved in flavors, but some of those flavors have not been for the best.
Fair enough.
And Ano said that in 5 years, there will be an anime crash in Japan.
There already is an anime crash in Japan. There already is an anime crash in Japan. Haven't you noticed all the anime studios that have been
Outsourcing?
well,
Yeah,
closing.
I just don't think
closing
the
down.
art is as good as it. I don't know. I just
I'm
don't
sorry,
think the art
it's
is
just
as
that
good as it used to be. Like the art
it
style.
hasn't been that severe, but then again, I've been much to the ones that get dubbed, which isn't too many, but they showing up at least more prominent around here.
I mean, haven't you seen the sheer amount of
in a
animes
sense.
that have been? Haven't you seen the sheer amount of anime studios that have been shutting down or cutting back the amount of animes they do? Because and the reason you're going to have an anime crash isn't because of, well, I mean, part of it is what you've noticed is that there's a lot of there's too much saturation of certain types of anime. There's too many of the cutesy animes that truly good animes get lost in the shuffle. Like there's too much of certain things. It's like remember
Too many waifus, damn it.
well, remember
Yeah.
in the early '90s, after the ultra violent wave ended, you got a lot of the magic girl animes coming over, like
Ugh.
Sailor Moon and
So
yes, Sailor Moon. There were like
Nothing happened.
there were tons of Sailor Moon clones with magical girl animes. And then when that died out after about 3 or 4 years, and then they came, and then Dragon Ball and the ultra actiony mangas came, and those lasted a while. Those lasted like 10 years. Those shonen animes, but then those started to die out, and then the ultra cutesy moe type stuff came in, and now it's just this is gonna die too, and then the next thing will come up.
the cycle continues.
And the Western anime fans want shonen anime and manly anime back into popularity again.
Well, that's just not gonna happen.
Because that's the anime they grew up with.
Yeah, but I mean that's just not going to happen. In order to have a healthy industry, you need a variety, which is something that anime used to have in the 70s and in the early 80s. But then it kind of they started chasing trends, kind of like Hollywood does here, where Marvel did a cinematic universe. Why can't we do a cinematic universe? And now everyone, remember, like for the last 2 years, everyone keeps on trying to find an IP to turn into a cinematic universe. Like Universal, we're going to do the dark universe, and we're going to start with the Mummy. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to start, why don't you start with the originals? Like,
They did with Dracula.
Well, yeah, and that bombed. That bombed spectacularly. And the reason it bombed was because they tried to make a sympathetic Dracula. You can't do that. Dracula needs to be a villain. He needs to be.
I was going to say, didn't they try to do that with the animation?
Then they try to do that with Castlevania? Make a sympathetic Dracula?
Yeah.
You mean the anime? No, that was just recently.
Because sympathetic villains are in and bland and generic villains are out.
Well,
that's why many people complain about the Marvel's villain.
Well, the thing about Dracula is that the thing that makes Dracula into a cool villain is that he's a very compelling villain, right? Like the way that, I mean, cinematically speaking, like you watch Bela Lugosi's Dracula, Like the way he deals with like various characters. He's got this very compelling type of thing going on here. You know, it's almost very mysterious. You know,
Yeah.
dare I say it? Like Dracula. You know, Dracula's got this whole like the way he seduces these women, and he's got his brides and stuff. Like he's got this whole. He's almost like a pimp. You know, really.
Yeah, you can say that.
Jonathan Harker, I will hit you with my pimp hand. But yeah, you know, like I mean, and that's what like people like. They keep on trying to reinvent classics, and if you learned anything about American cinema, people do not like people reinventing classics unless their take is so interesting that it makes you forget the classic. And here's the thing: no one's really good at reinventing classics nowadays in cinema. Like they can do it in the 80s.
Because they look at their
like Brad
their
with Gary Oldman.
That was in the 90s, and that was pretty good.
They look at their spreadsheet.
Has there been a good Dracula film since then?
Let's see.
Not really.
What?
Would Van Helsing count?
That movie is terrible. That movie is god awful. I would rather be staked in the heart than watch that movie in a movie theater again.
Hey, what about 28 Days Later?
That's zombies.
Isn't that
No, that's zombies. Well, I mean, really, 28 Days Later is like they're categorized as zombies, but they're really people who are infected with a mania virus. But it's called a zombie movie. No, that doesn't count.
Yeah, the whole idea that they have trouble reinventing classics is I think they just look at various trends and spreadsheets and what people are interested in, and just, you know, it's cookie cutter, and they try too much to be like the original rather than you know, have a complete different outlook.
Yeah.
Then again, Jumanji is just way out there.
No, we're not. No,
What do they do
fuck that
that?
movie. Fuck the new Jumanji movie.
No, we're not
Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. You know what? You can take that movie.
They screwed that movie up.
You can take that movie
I just saw
and you
the
can crack it to a
for
starship.
Jumanji 2.
You
I
can take
prefer the board game.
exactly. Yes. Let me tell you something.
And also,
the new Jumanji.
Also, that trailer fails at knowing how our Atari 2600 games look like.
That movie can take that movie. Look, the new Jumanji can.
That movie
eat
can
shit
take a
and
long
die.
walk off a short cliff.
That movie. Look, I can say this because I'm a black guy and I'm big. That movie can kiss my big black ass. There, I said it.
Did you see that? Did you have to go see that movie?
No.
What?
Did you have to go see that movie?
No. I don't like the idea of them remaking a film that the first film did its job adequately. Like there doesn't need to be a need to have a Jumanji 2.
To be honest, I was actually happy to know that Jumanji 2 was coming in a sense. When I saw the trailer, I just had to wonder, what the F?
Yeah, you had to go slap yourself for being happy. Like, why am I happy about this? What was wrong with me?
Me that's saying, why can't I be happy with this?
Because it's terrible.
Why did you take the concept of a board game?
You know what takes me off more
into a video game and then do a Tron on me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what ticks me off more from that when I was watching that trailer? The fact that the Jumanji game is in the form of a Atari 2600 game, and when they turn that game on, it's much more pixelated than the actual Atari 2600 games.
You want to know what pissed me off with that trailer? It wasn't the Atari. It wasn't how the Atari looked. It was that this movie isn't being made because people love Jumanji. It isn't being made because they thought there was more of a story to tell there.
They cash it in.
It's being made because Sony wants to make money, and that movie is so fucking cynical. It's so fucking cynical. They got a black comedian, they got The Rock, they got a white comedian, Jack Black / musician Jack Black. They're like, hey,
and a hot girl.
And I don't know who that girl is. And a girl, and a lady, and a lady. And they're like, we're gonna make a Jumanji 2. Like, why? Just
Didn't we already have a Jumanji? Didn't we already have a Jumanji 2? It was called Suzuka.
Let's forget about talking about
Jumanji sequel. Yeah, there is a Jumanji sequel, and it's called Suzuka. And here's the thing. Jumanji, despite all the silly shit that happens in it and the shitty CGI, has a surprisingly deep story and some fucked up shit that happens in it. And you know what? It's a better movie than this shit's gonna be. I haven't even seen it yet, and I already know the original.
Yeah, I've seen both the Sora and the original Jumanji.
I mean, the thing I like about Jumanji is that it's surprisingly dark.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with the Thor. It's like, this is surprisingly dark. This is darker than it has any business being. I mean, we've got my main man.
And pretty scary for children.
Well, I mean, I would never say that Jumanji was scary, but I mean, here's the good thing about kids movies from the mid '90s and the mid '80s. As a kid, you could watch them and get something out of them, but then you watch them as an adult and you look at all the adult jokes that were kind of like, oh,
yeah, that's really good like that.
I can't believe they put that in there. Like I remember watching Hook when I was a kid. I was like, I enjoyed this movie. It's fun. It's a nice Peter Pan movie.
Ooh, that's another one.
And I'm like, this movie is fucking horrific. In the first 10 minutes of Hook, you see a person tortured.
Get hurt.
You see a person tortured, locked in a chest, tortured, and then thrown overboard. And the chest is weighted, so they're going to drown to death and die.
Yeah, yep.
First, and here's the thing. It's a Steven Spielberg film when Steven Spielberg was still on top of his game. And the thing you have to know about Steven Spielberg films is that they are always way darker than they have any business being. It's like,
where the heck that darkness is now?
Even if it's PG-13, it's way darker than it has any business being. Like, way too dark. Like, Jesus Christ. Now, of course, in Hook, they called it the Boo Box.
Yeah.
Captain James T. Hook comes down. He's like, yes, I told you I'd do it. I'd go into the other world and steal Peter Pan's children. And all of you bet on me, except for you. What? Yes, you, not you. You bet against me. I didn't. Don't lie to me. You know you bet against me. Yes, I did.
Oh,
you know the person who got locked in the Boo Box was Glenn Close wearing makeup, male makeup. Yeah, but yeah. The Boo Box. He's like, oh, you made a boo-boo, didn't you? Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, you are sorry. The Boo Box, not the Boo Box. Oh, it's horrific. And that's and then you see a kid get murdered like halfway through the film with Rufio. But no one liked Rufio, so fuck him.
I was gonna say, what
was the topic? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, man.
We just went off topic around.
We always go off topic. We were talking about somebody making Jumanji.
Has anyone seen Mother or Ninjago? I heard those movies were awful.
I saw. Well, Mother isn't awful. It's just a really in-your-face allegory that you're either gonna love or hate. See,
Yeah,
the problem
Chris Duggan mentioned that in his review.
Yeah, the
He said it was
problem
going
with,
to be a movie under the hate,
yeah,
and he gave it a positive review. So
the problem with Mother is that Paramount, because they're floundering around to have a hit, mismarketed it. They marketed it as a horror movie. There are some horrific things that happen in Mother, but it's not really a horror movie. It's more of a allegory for Mother Nature and the Christian creation story, the Judeo-Christian creation story. It's not a horror movie. I don't know, but Paramount was like, shit, we need to do something. And it had just come out, and they were like, well, it needs to be horrifying, so it's making all this money, so we'll release our own horror movie, and people will be like, well, we can watch this, and it'll be good. And they've messed up because it's not a horror movie. There's nothing remotely horror.
Looks like they're starting to regret canceling that Friday the 13th reboot.
Well, that's their dumbasses. They should have done that because we actually have a Friday the 13th coming out. And if they hadn't canceled it in October, too, they could have had a Friday the 13th in October, Halloween month.
Well, because they canceled it because their new Rings movie flopped at the box office.
Yeah, but that's because no one wanted another Rings movie. Friday the 13th has a built-in fan base. There are people say, Friday the 13th, Jason? Oh, shit. I didn't see Jason Voorhees kill somebody again. And if if Paramount had released a Friday the 13th movie on Friday the 13th, this year, October 13th, with, make it low budget like the original one, like maybe 20, 25 million, use some practical special effects, make it a hard R where you can see people die in horrific detail, because if you're watching a Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th movie, you want to see counselors making out, trying to score so that later on they're going to die. Then the one girl who saved herself and the one dude who saved himself, they managed to get away. But everyone else, if you got some, you dead. You ain't gonna make it. And if you're the one black guy, you might make it halfway through. He might be in the car about to drive off and die before the end, because those are the horror movie rules.
Good thing I'm not black either, because I'm actually Hispanic.
Well, you ain't safe either. They put you in movies. They kill you. They kill your ass off too. look, they get you too, man. No one's safe unless you're the white female protagonist who saved herself in a horror movie. You'll make it, but nobody else. Everyone else has to die, and that's what makes a horror movie good.
They really.
Always the girl.
Isn't that
maybe
pretty
a guy
that people will get tired of it? I mean, hasn't there been a horror movie that deconstructs everything, all the horror cliches?
Yeah, there is. It's called it's this Australian horror movie that basically flips all of them on their head. Like, the kid dies in the first 20 minutes. Like, normally kids aren't supposed to die in horror films, but he does. He buys it, and they even lie to you because they're like, "Oh, this kid, he lives a happy life. He goes on to college. He's gonna be just fine." And 5 minutes later, he's snatched by the monster and killed. It's like, what the hell? This is some bullshit. I feel like somebody lied to me, and that's how it is with Mother. Like, you watch it, and you're like Paramount is like, yeah, man, it's gonna be a horror movie. It's gonna be really terrible. We've got this dude on a violin fucking around with it, with the creepy music and jump cuts. It's gonna be scary in this trailer. And you watch it, and it's like, this isn't really scary. Well, you know how they do it, how they do the jump thing. They love doing it. But yeah, Mother's not terrible. It's like, it was mismarketed, but that's not Darren Aronofsky's fault. That's Paramount's fault, because they effed up. Now, the other film, Ninjago.
Oh, I just watched that. I just watched it today.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's got a really good joke with a cat in it. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't. The thing is, you probably won't enjoy the movie if you're not familiar with the Ninjago lore.
No, I mean, I got a lot of the jokes, because a lot of the jokes weren't really linked to Ninjago. Like I like that they had the robot that was like trying to blend in. I'm just an average, everyday, ordinary kid. My parents are always like, the old internet, connection was. I mean, there's some funny things in it.
Who is Ninjago again? Where is that?
It's Lego's other property. Like, it's Lego's like least popular property. That's basically like it's like ninjas.
Oh yeah,
that's its thing. It's
And
like
they're
ninjas.
Yeah, that was a TV show on Cartoon Network, I think.
They're still airing.
Ugh. CGI was terrible.
Well, we can talk, awful. We can talk about this once the thing is done, and I think we've exhausted TGS. So let's give our overall thoughts about TGS, and then we'll wrap things up. Starting with the lady who muted herself. Lady who muted herself, say something.
I'm here now.
Thoughts about TGS, and then we'll wrap things up.
It did show a lot to me as far as what might interest me. At least something to look forward to a little bit, but I'm not sure by how much.
Fair enough. Kadoshi?
TGS hasn't been relevant since, I don't know, maybe the mid-decade or whatever. I don't know. When's the last time TGS has been relevant? It seems like it's E3 repackaged for the Japanese audience. And
TGS is good.
E3.
TGS is valid when there are games that come out in TGS that you know are going to get localized in America. That's kind of cool, but I mean, for us, it's not so much. Like, E3 is our TGS, or I should say, TGS is their E3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Triple M.
Okay. I'll go. While we were talking on the I was looking through some of the news stuff that came out of TGS. I'm like, okay, this is fairly good. Something that most of the stuff that we've known before, but okay, I'm seeing new footage of known stuff. So that's good, their part. However, this is the thing that bothers me a bit, and quite so in recent years. There's some fan base out there. I don't know, but for some reason, when they're really salty at some point in time, and they're like Tokyo Game Show is going to be that one show that's going to blow everyone out of the water about their company choice. Don't matter if it's Sony, Microsoft. I'm saying Microsoft, but yeah, neither Sony, Nintendo, or any third parties. And when that doesn't happen, then the saltiness goes. Now, I bet there's a reason why the whole thing about TGS is becoming irrelevant. I bet that's why people are saying that, because so many people just really can't avoid hyping things up when they really shouldn't. So, yeah. The show, okay in my book. Very okay in my book. Nothing fancy.
So,
Same here.
you mean to tell me you don't like all the half-ass bullshit that people show at TGS and people get hyped up about, and then half of the stuff never even comes to America anyway? So what's the point of even getting hyped up about it?
Yeah. Like that.
All right, so Pinky Down, you're next, and I'll go last.
And, let's see. Even though I forgot to watch the entire Tokyo Game Show, I wasn't interested in all all of what's revealed besides what's coming to the Switch, as well as what Capcom's screwing up this time?
Answered everything.
I was pretty meh on the whole presentation.
Yeah, I just don't. What I don't understand. It's like, what's Capcom's excuse? Like, how come they can't bring their games over when Bethesda, out of all companies, are bringing a couple of their bigger games over?
And they finally revealed footage for their Resident Evil 7 DLC, Not a Hero, starring Chris Redfield. I was wondering if they forgot about that DLC and flat out canceled it.
Yeah, I would have been.
Wow.
I would have been happier. I would have been happier if they'd had Leon Kennedy.
Do people still care about Resident Evil 7?
As a matter of fact, they could have just had the same thing, except Leon Kennedy raids that nasty ass house in Resident Evil 7. He kicks the door in, RE4 style, just starts shooting people. He's like,
everyone loves Leon Kennedy more than other main characters.
Because Leon has that shitty haircut, and yet, like Leon has that shitty haircut, but he owns it. It's like the dude's got so much swag with his shitty haircut that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna give it to him. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Leon. Like Chris looks like Chris is like trying to maintain. He's punching boulders to stop like volcanic eruptions and shit. But
Wow.
I mean, people love Leon so much that they wanted him to be added in Marvel vs. Capcom or even Smash.
no, man, he would have. But Leon has that shitty ass haircut, which is just hilarious. And let's keep it real. RE4 is probably the best modern Resident Evil game ever. So, and Leon Kennedy was the main character in that, and that's probably why people like.
You didn't like that. You didn't like that Resident Evil 7. You know that Outlast form. That wasn't your thing.
No, and I wasn't down with RE6 where they had RE5 where they had that guy. They had Chris Redfield team up with that chick with the bone in her nose and the leopard skin outfit. I'm like, yeah, way to be racially insensitive, you assholes. That's how I felt. But that's just me. That's neither here nor there. I guess I'll give my sign off.
Many people would call that cultural appropriate because she's African.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, okay. Time out for a second. First of all, if you go to Africa right now, to a supposedly civilized nation in Africa, where people aren't ultra tribal, you're not going to see people going around with leopard print outfits on. That is a racial stereotype. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people, just like here in America.
Too much.
Like here in America, there are Native American tribes where they do sometimes wear their traditional dress. But Joe Blow average person, they aren't wearing a headdress and a wigwam and all that stuff. They're wearing normal clothes, and that's racist to think that. I mean, I know what Capcom was doing. They're like, well, this is just going to be a nice outfit. But I'm like, really? And here's the thing. Not only that, but the area of Africa she was from, that's not even native dress. that's
Oh, gosh.
So in other words, Capcom screwed up on their historical accuracy and how
They effed up. They did a triple F up. They effed up because in modern days, that's not like they don't wear that like that often at all. Where she's from Northern Africa. They don't wear shit like that in Northern Africa. And thirdly, that's just really racially insensitive. There were so many other things that she could have had her wear. She could have worn a roll outfit. She could have wore a zero outfit from Mega Man Zero. Shit, they could have put her in Ada Wong's onesie, slinky ass onesie dress, anything but a leopard print thing with a bone through her nose. Come on, man. I'm sorry. Okay,
Who
time
the
back
heck
in.
made these?
Yeah, that was too far. That was too far.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, that's the end of this impromptu thing. Yeah, I want to talk about TGS, and I needed to have something this week because it's always good to have something when you're doing BS Busters.
Oh,
And
Al Hex, what happened after cast?
no, I had plenty.
yeah,
I had plentiful, but those could be next time.
yeah, we can we can always have another podcast sometime in the future. Hopefully, when I'm feeling a bit better. But that's neither here nor there. That's the end of this episode. Stay tuned. I will have some more videos come out. Hopefully, my reviews of the Orville episodes 2 and 3. I'm sorry, I've been sick all week, but I'll try and get those up either tonight or tomorrow. So look forward to that. Also, we'll probably have some gameplay of me playing SteamWorld Dig 2 coming up this week. So with that being said, good night and peace.